Today I'm here to introduce you to the Roborock S7 robot vacuum. Smart vacuums are still not natively supported in HomeKit, but this one does include Siri Shortcuts, so you can clean your floors simply from your Apple Watch, iPhone, or HomePod. And for those of you that really want this in HomeKit, then yes, you can do that as well. It's not a particularly easy process, but it's totally possible, so I'll go over how I did that and share my experience using it in HomeKit. After 6 months of using the S7, I'll go over what I like and what I think could be improved. There's a lot to talk about, so let's get into it. We have a busy life like many of you out there, I'm sure. Between my wife and I both working full time, the kids, their activities, and this YouTube channel, keeping the floors clean, well, it needs to be done, but it doesn't always hit the top of our priority list. Often, it's just a quick vacuum over high traffic areas. However, since using the Roborock S7, my floors have been looking pretty good. We're talking about a full vacuum over the entire floor and a streak-free mop, and I'll do a little demo to show you how well this works in a few minutes. This is also capable of multi-floor mapping, so if you have a multi-level home like I do, then this vacuum has you covered. A huge thank you to Roborock for generously providing me this product so I could test this out and review it for you. Roborock sent this to me last January, so I had a good amount of time to really learn this machine and fully test it out. Okay, it's time to meet Robbie. We've named this vacuum and Robbie is like family to us. The family took this decision very seriously, and they were pretty amazed the first few times watching him meticulously cover every inch of our main floor. Let me go over the features of what the Roborock S7 can do, then I'll discuss how to integrate this into your HomeKit smart home using Siri Shortcuts or by using a Homebridge plugin if you really want this in HomeKit. The S7 comes in both black and white, and here is everything that comes in the box. Once assembled, you should give it a full charge using the included dock. You'll want to find a home for the dock with an outlet nearby, and you'll want to allow for approximately ½ a meter on either side and 1½ meters straight in front so it has space to correctly dock and return to its post once a clean cycle is complete. It takes approximately 6 hours to fully charge, and you can view the battery status in the Roborock app as well as the battery indicator on the unit itself. You'll probably be controlling this from the app or using Siri, but there are some manual controls right on the machine for things like cleaning and returning to the dock. Setting up the Roborock is simple using the Roborock app, which will guide you through the full process. I'll talk more about the app shortly, but first let me tell you what the Roborock S7 can do. Well, this is a vacuum, but it's also a mop. The mop is activated automatically when there's water in the 300 milliliter water tank and when the included microfiber pad is attached. It would be nice if this had the option to only vacuum even if the mop pad was attached. Roborock says to use just water to clean the floors, though they do sell a cleaning solution that's safe to use with this machine on the Roborock website. Honestly, it's worked well on my laminate floors, and even the mop I was using previously was this Norwax mop that only used water as well. The mop cleans your floor by using a small amount of water that's safe on all flooring types, including laminate and hardwood. It uses what Roborock calls their sonic vibration technology and scrubs up to 3,000 times per minute using sonic vibration. There are 3 modes that can be customized from mild to intense for the maximum mopping power. So you may be thinking, well, what about the carpeted areas in your house? Well, the cool thing is that the machine can detect carpet and it will automatically lift the mop pad and just vacuum those areas. Seriously super cool. Before mopping though, it is a good idea to make sure that you vacuum first, just as you would if you were manually mopping. Manually mopping. I didn't think I'd ever hear myself say that one. That's another reason though why it would be nice if you could run a vacuum cycle even with the mop pad on. That way you could vacuum then mop immediately after. Instead, you need to vacuum then attach the mop pad before mopping. Not a big deal, but it would be a nice future enhancement. You can see here that Roborock leaves a clean, streak-free floor. When it comes to the vacuum, there are 4 modes from quiet to max. You can customize this in the Roborock app, but by default, it uses a low-powered balance setting on bare floors and turbo for extra suction when on carpet. Instead of a bristled brush that you may be used to, the Roborock S7 uses a rubber brush that's said to be more durable and avoids hair tangles. I haven't noticed any issues with hair, though I've been using this on my main floor where there's less hair than say our bathroom where family members are brushing or blow drying their hair. There's also a rotating side brush that can pull dirt around the edges into the main vacuum. This comes with a 5200 milliamp battery that lasts up to 3 hours. Since it docks and charges after each clean, it's pretty hard to drain the full battery. I find that after a normal vacuum on my main floor, the battery is still over 50%. Let's take a look at the Roborock app. Getting started is easy. Basically, all you need to do is hit clean. The very first time you clean your floors, the Roborock will build a map of your floors using its precise sense LiDAR navigation. Seeing our floor plan being mapped in real time on the app was definitely cool to watch. It took about an hour to vacuum my main floor, which is approximately 65 square meters or 700 square feet of open space. We usually run this right before bed so we can start the next day with a spotless floor. The dustbin holds 470 milliliters. Depending on your space and how often you plan on cleaning your floors, you can expect to get a few cleanings before emptying the bin. Though if you have pets, for example, you'll probably need to empty it more often. The first time we vacuumed, wow, I was amazed and disgusted with how much dirt was picked up. We vacuum daily here and there with the Dyson V7 cordless, and it does a great job, but I'm not constantly going under furniture like the Roborock. It's cool to watch it go under cabinets, under my coffee table, and get in all the nooks and crannies with its low profile. I notice it reaches so many places that we typically overlook when vacuuming ourselves. Emptying the dustbin is easy, just lift up the cover and pull it out, then empty it into your garbage. There's a removable filter where I do find dirt gets caught, so sometimes I'll use a toothpick to help pull it out. You should clean the filter every 30 days or so using cold running water, and it's recommended to allow it to dry for a full 24 hours before placing it back in the machine. If you'd rather not have to empty the dustbin so often, then Roborock has an optional auto empty dock. Basically, this sucks the dust out of the dustbin into the dust bag on the dock. It uses a filtration system that captures up to 99.9% of particles as small as 0.3 microns, and it collects the dust into a 3-liter bag. Roborock says you can go up to 8 weeks before needing to replace the bag. I don't need this, but I do eventually want to get this. Okay, so those are some of the basics. Now let's take a closer look at some of the features in the app. Enter your Roborock S7 and you can see a map from your most recent clean and the battery status at the top. If you look closer at the map, you'll see some darker areas, and for me this represents carpets like area rugs and mats. If I want to clean the entire floor, I just have to hit clean, but I can also click rooms and then just select the rooms that I want to clean. I'll often just clean some high traffic rooms like the front entrance or kitchen. You can also set up customized zones to cover a section of your home instead of just individual rooms. Pressing the map button will allow you to create no-go zones, which is pretty self-explanatory. You can also edit rooms. After you've created a map of your floor, you'll be able to draw lines to differentiate each room and then name it. You can also name the map. So for example, I have a main floor, second level, and basement. To clean another level, you don't need to move the dock, just move the Roborock to the other level and start cleaning. It'll build a new map and just return to its starting position. No, it won't go back down the stairs and dock itself, though that would be pretty cool. Also be aware that while the S7 does have fall detection so it shouldn't fall down a flight of stairs, Roborock says to use a secure physical barrier to prevent accidental falls that may result in personal injury or property damage. So I guess if you have a baby gate at the top of your stairs, you're good. Or if you're like me, then just do this. You can also customize cleaning intensity for rooms based on your needs. I've actually programmed my front entrance to max vacuum power since this room gets heavy traffic, especially during the winter months with all the sand and dirt that's tracked in from the snow. Under settings, you have some more options. The robot settings allows you to do things like turn on child locks in case you have kids that like to play with the buttons, as well as disabling button lights. There's also a do not disturb mode that won't clean during certain hours, and voice prompts are quieter. Additionally, you can change the units from meters to feet. If you click on carpet settings, then you will see carpet boost. By default, the power is automatically increased when on carpet. I think this generally makes sense, but you can turn it off if you wish. You also have the option to ignore carpets when mopping. So if you have rubber mats that can be mopped, then this could be a good setting for you. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to find a way to customize this setting for individual areas. In my home, I have area rugs, but I also have rubber kitchen mats. Ideally, it would be nice if I could choose to mop my kitchen mats only. Robot voice allows you to change the language, and schedules lets you create a schedule, run it daily, weekly, or just on certain days. With Pin and Go, you can move your Roborock to a specific spot and do a spot clean, which is very cool. There's also a remote control feature so you can move the vacuum around, and again, spot clean as needed. Under maintenance, you can see the health of your S7. It's a good idea to clean and replace parts as necessary to keep your Roborock in tip-top condition. The mop simply says replace as needed, so I recommend giving it a good rinse after each use, and you'll have a pretty good idea when it looks like it's time to be replaced. You can also see the health of your sensors. Nothing to replace here, just a reminder to clean after approximately 30 hours of use. I did at one point experience an issue where the vacuum was having trouble finding the dock, but a quick wipe of the sensors and the issue was immediately fixed. Replacement items can be purchased from the Roborock website for reasonable prices. I've also seen replacement parts on Amazon, so that's worth exploring as well. So what about using this in your Apple smart home? To set up Siri Shortcuts, go to your profile and select voice controls. This works with Amazon Alexa and Siri Shortcuts. Click on Siri commands to see your Siri shortcuts and create new ones. Siri shortcut options include starting cleaning, returning to the dock, and selective room cleaning. If I was to create a Siri shortcut to create my bathroom floor, then I would select selective cleaning, select bathroom, then record the phrase that you want to say. The example provided is, hey, execute selective room cleaning, but you can customize it as you wish. This just makes it really easy to control your Roborock using Siri. You just want to make sure the phrases are easy to remember. Between Siri shortcuts, utilizing the schedule feature, and the ease of controlling in the Roborock app, this device is easy and convenient. Though if that's not enough for you and you want to take this a step further using Homebridge, then there is a plugin for that, though I wouldn't call it quick or easy, and I personally didn't find the benefits of adding it to Homekit to be worth it, but that's just me. Using Hoobs, it was easy to find and install the plugin, but obtaining the token was more challenging. I'm not going to go into detail with any of these steps since there's already a great video that covers this information that I'll link in the description. Though basically it involves reserving the IP address for the device within your router settings, then doing a manual backup of your iPhone to your Mac, then opening that backup in an application you need to download and install called iBackup Viewer, then exporting the necessary files to another program you need to download called DB Browser for SQLite. Then you need to export to a CSV file. At this point, you are getting close. The CSV will give you a 92-digit token that you then need to convert down to 32 digits.
Hexadecimals. Hexadecimals to the rescue.
At this point, your token is in table format, so the final step is to remove all the spaces. And from there, you're ready to configure the plugin by entering the IP address and 32-character token. Easy, right? Oh, and this only works using the Mi Home app, not the Roborock app. I used this from the Mi Home app for several months, and it works just as well, in my opinion, as the Roborock app, but you can't use both, so it's going to be one or the other. The problem is that smart vacuums are not recognized in Homekit. This means once you've added it to Homekit, it's going to show up as a fan, not a vacuum, so it's just not very intuitive. I also wasn't able to create rooms in Homekit. I did a lot of research trying to figure this out, and I think there is a way to manually get your room's coordinates and configure that within the plugin, but I wasn't able to figure that out. If you're a savvy user, then perhaps you can. I'm also using Hoobs, so if you're using Homebridge directly, the process may be different. Personally, I just found it unnecessary having it in Homekit, and I found myself just using the Mi Home app instead. Hopefully, robot vacuums like the Roborock S7 will be supported natively in Homekit in the future, but for now, Siri Shortcuts works for me. While the Roborock does an excellent job maneuvering around large obstacles, it's not as great with smaller ones. I've had this jammed with a Beyblade that my son left on the floor, a shoelace, and a charging cable. You may need to consider setting up a no-go zone. For example, if there's a corner of the house with problem areas like loose cords or other small objects, then you can just create a virtual space that the S7 will avoid. Our personal routine is to do a quick clean before we go to bed. This means counters and sinks are wiped down, we load the dishwasher, and any loose items are picked up and put back in their home. Then as I'm heading upstairs to go to bed, I use Siri to start cleaning. I typically vacuum daily, and I run the mop a couple of times a week or as needed. I have to say that I've been so impressed with Robbie. The quality of the Roborock S7 vacuum and mop has surprised me. This has pretty much replaced my previous vacuum and mop, at least in my main living space. I do still give my bathroom and front entrance a good manual mopping once in a while, but far less than I used to. And despite not having full native HomeKit support, this still integrated well into my Apple smart home. As of recording, the S7 is available on Amazon.com for $650 and $840 on Amazon.ca, though with additional import fees. In terms of how this compares to other robot vacuums on the market, I would say it's sort of in the middle, which is typically the sweet spot from a value perspective. You can absolutely find cheaper robot vacuums out there, but with the mopping features and overall ease and quality of the Roborock S7, it seems to be a good value to me. Based on my experience with the S7, it's a great option that performs well, delivers solid results, especially since it uses Siri Shortcuts. Now, if you want even more, then I'll leave a link to the S7 MaxV, and it's like the S7 but on steroids. It includes a camera capable of two-way audio and video calls, increased suction, and updated avoidance detection. This comes in around $860 for just the vacuum with the standard dock, but it can also be purchased with their empty wash fill dock, which has a water reservoir for mopping, a compartment for emptying collecting dust, and it can clean the vacuum. Really impressive stuff, and that comes in at a whopping $1,400. Shane Watley actually reviewed this and put out a great video a couple of months ago, so we'll link that in the description to learn more about the S7 MaxV. No doubt this is a major purchase, but if you've been thinking of adding a robot vacuum to your smart home, then I do highly recommend Roborock based on over 6 months of testing. If you have a robot vacuum, then let me know how you're enjoying it. Can you imagine living without it? Also, how have you integrated that into your smart home? Okay, before I go, one last thing. I don't get too caught up in my channel analytics or the numbers, but I have to say I'm floored to have surpassed 10,000 subscribers. I'd like to give my viewers a shout out and say thank you for your support over the last year and a half. I'm having a lot of fun doing what I love, and hopefully I've been able to help you create a better smart home. That's it for this week. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.